Welcome back to another wonderful day of Fusion360. We're going to learn how to transfer objects from the Sculpt environment into the model environment. Because if I make an object as an example in the model environment, if I create a box, just a basic simple box, and I go back to the Sculpt environment, that will not transfer. It turns to a shaded, clear shape. I can't interact, I can't touch it. Let me just get that back. So how you transfer back and forth is really important in a lot of different aspects, on the sense that if it's too complicated, it might not work. Now, I do not suggest transferring from model into Sculpt. I don't suggest that. I suggest that you start in Sculpt and then transfer it to model later. Modeling environment is actually a lot harder to transfer to Sculpt because of the way that the objects are created and the way that they work, the edges and it's hard to explain. I think someone else can explain it better than me. Just don't for now. So sculpting, let's say I had a box, just a basic simple box. And let's say I changed it just a bit. I did this and I did this. I'm just randomly doing stuff. You can't do this in the model environment. It will be way too cumbersome, way too time wasting just to even make something like this in the model environment. Whatever shape this is supposed to be is very smooth and rounded. This is why the averaging between the different surfaces here in Sculpt environment works really well for what it is. But what if I wanted to make this into the model environment? I go to model environment, it appears here automatically, and I can now select it. That is sort of a new thing in Fusion. And then I can also, let's say I make a cylinder, if I cut a hole in it, it all works fine. Now what just happened was, as I transfer to the model environment, when this is on, the history is on. What happens is Fusion will automatically convert this object from what's called a T-spline, down here in convert, from a T-spline into a B-rep. A B-rep object is the model environment objects. A T-spline is the sculpting environment object. Two very different objects that have very different geometries and the way that they are coded in the back end. Another object you can convert to is a mesh or quad mesh. Some meshes in other programs do triangles. Fusion does quads, four-sided meshes, like I've talked about in other videos. This would be in the patch environment. Patching deals with meshes. So here we go. You can convert physically, like this, selecting it, converting it to T-spline. You can't convert from T-spline to quad. You have to convert to a B-rep first, then convert to a B-rep into a... No, you can't at all, actually. Never mind. I'm thinking ahead. You can maintain symmetry, flip. Maintain symmetry would mean that there are some very specific corners and creases and things you really want to keep. It will do its best, which means it has to create more sides depending on whatever the object is. But this is it. You can create it like that. It's the same way. And then it flips to the model environment automatically. So if you are old to Fusion, not new, then you will always remember having to convert on your own. Now we actually convert by default by just moving environments. So anything you create in the Sculpt environment will convert. If, let's say we have, and let's see if I can do this properly. Let's say we have an edge that overlaps like this. I don't think this might work. This might work. This might work. I'm talking to myself again. There we go. Perfect. Return. Okay. So what happened was it threw an error. You can see this error here. Conversion error. Edges or faces may be crossing. This is what will cause errors. If you find this happening when you want to transfer environments or convert, I'll try to convert it just to show you. It still does the exact same thing. It's the exact same process. What you have to do is fix the body. Two ways to do that. I had a video on repairing a body. This will probably won't do anything to this right now. Or you can actually bring it back. Let me just select this and bring it back. And this would convert, I'm pretty sure. Let me just try it, just to show you. Yeah, bring it back again to re-show you something else. Go back there. Another way to think about this when you want to fix things, if you want to transfer environments, is go display mode. Right here under utilities. It's the first one down by default in your menu. Display mode. And this, if you select the object, it doesn't matter which part, you have three options. This currently we're on smooth display. All the lines and corners are smooth. It's all averaged. This box display shows you what the object is like in the back end of Fusion, in the coding side of Fusion, not in the user side. So what happened was, now I can see exactly where parts are. It doesn't account for stretching and pulling. It just goes to straight corners and boxes. So I can bring this back. So let's say for some reason, I want this corner to be exactly so close to this one, but not overlapping like this. So that in box view, you can do this. In the smooth view, you can't. So now if I go back, now it looks like it's okay. If I go back, select it, doesn't look much different, right? You can do this normally, but now I know that for whatever reason my purpose was, this edge is actually closer to this edge. That's it. That's how you transfer between here, this environment, and model environment. It's by default. You can't go back and forth without transferring these objects. Unless I'm missing something, then it might have changed. But for now, this is all I know, and this is what we get. And then now you can't. If I go back, it's save and recovery. If I go back to Sculpt environment, you see how it's disappeared? That's because it is now into a BREP. If I convert it back, I think I'm spending too much time on this. Where are I? Modify. Nope. Create. Where is the convert option inside here? Assembly. Nope. Okay. Model. Let's go back here. Let's see if I can do this. Convert. Find the body. It's not even selectable at all. Interesting. BREP. They've changed a few things lately. I'm just trying to find the convert. I think I missed it. Modify. So under assembly. Inspect. Construct. Stretch. I guess we're stuck. So just keep that in mind. Once you convert it, it's stuck unless you just use the Control Z or Alt Z to go back. Okay. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.